Okay, hello and welcome back to another episode of my narrated rolling footage. And this time we are going to the English Open, which happened on Sunday for me, just a couple of days ago. English Open 2022 in the UEL Sports Dock in East London. And I had just one fight, didn't last long, and spoiler alert, I lost. So I'll be going over the little minutiae of the things I did right and the things I did wrong, just to help you learn, hopefully. Definitely help me learn, and hopefully there we go. I'll show the whole footage first, and then I'll go over the sort of more technical aspects of what I think was happening at the time, or what was going through my head. And it's, as I say, it's painful to go over your videos when you lose, but I think it's good to analyze your definitely your competition footage, because that's where all the good things in the gym are come out, and you can see them come out, and all the things that, man, I need to work more on that, or I wasn't aware of that happening, they are also very, very much on display. It's such a raw and very visceral way to analyze yourself. I know it's horrible to do that, but I recommend everyone does that. Even if just get a mate to phone on your smartphone your footage, and you don't have to do narrated footage like me. You can just look over it yourself and really pick apart. Try to think like an instructor. Try to think like a third person and analyze without the emotional and personal investment in it, which I know is very hard to do. Anyway, let's rewind this and go back to the beginning, and I'll play the whole footage. Just a little to preempt some information there. It was the English Open 2022. I fight Master 5, but in order to make it, I had no one in my category, so I went down 2 age brackets to Master 3. There were 3 of us, Rufus, Stefan, who you'll see here, and myself. We're all in different age groups, but we all decided to join together in Master 3, which is 40 and over. And also I had to fight a weight up, so 70 kilos. I actually weigh 60 kilos, so it was a 10 kilo disadvantage. No excuses though. I honestly, I don't have a problem with going a weight up and one age group down, maybe 2 age groups. Well, I had no choice in this case. I don't feel if I get beat, it's because the person was better than me. There's, the weight and the age difference doesn't quite have as much of an effect at the sort of top end of the scale, the age group scale, compared to, say, if you're 40-year-old fighting a 30-year-old. That's quite a big age group. Anyway, enough of me rambling. Have a look. I'll turn my face off. Have a look at the rolling footage, and then if you want to stick around for me waffling on, then by all means do so. So there you go, that's the fight. I lost by armbar. Well done to Stefan. Now I'm going to go over the video again and just stop it a moment and talk about some of the thoughts that were going through my head, some of the things I was trying to do, some of the things I recognised that he was trying to do, and the mistakes that I made and things that I can improve on. Let's go back to the beginning. Now, I had watched Stefan fight his first round with Rufus, and I knew that he would go in for a very quick half guard. That seems to be his go-to game plan. He likes half guard. He told me already that he likes playing half guard with the lapel feed. So I was very conscious of wanting to pull guard first. because I didn't want to get stuck in his half guard. He's got extremely strong grips. So I do a little there. So I don't know if you saw what I did with my right hand. I just do a little wave. And when I wave it up, it just makes the person flinch a tiny bit. So I can get grips first. And when you get grips first, then you can control the outcome a little bit better when you're second. So we always shout to our students, you know, be first, be first. So that was my initial thing in my head, to be first. And that little hand flick just is it's just a weird psychological, I can't stop it now, I do it every time. So little hand flick, get the grip, and then pull guard. Now I wanted half guard. I like playing half guard. I've been doing half guard a lot in training. And I know that I can work some stuff from half guard, but it wasn't quite a good half guard connection. And so what I did there, as Stefan was posturing, I worked myself around to De La Riva. De La Riva with an ankle grip, which is particularly nice one to use, especially when the person is standing quite upright. When they're standing very upright, half guard isn't going to work. So you're either going to have to work, you know, reverse De La Riva or regular De La Riva, which is what I did in this case. Let's have a look. Now another aspect to reverse De La Riva, to the half De La Riva guard, is that I like to play the deep De La Riva. So as you can see, I'm extending my right leg all the way here, and I'm just popping it up onto his thigh there. And I really want to get the De La Riva X guard. That would be my favorite secondary guard layer. I teach my students about layers of the guard. It's something I learned from Keenan's got a video on it, so, but other people talk about, Ryan Hall talk about it as well, layers of the guard. And when you play guard, or indeed a lot of open guard, you can't just specialize in one guard. You've got to have at least a good 3 or 4 layers, and it's a really good way to work your open guard game. So for me, I did want to go for half guard. It wasn't quite working, so I opened it out. I knew that the distance was lengthening, so I went for De La Riva, but I wanted to close the distance again. So De La Riva X guard is a really nice catch-all position with which to work the open guard. So I'm working sort of like a deep De La Riva guard there. And I realized that Stefan doesn't quite react in the way that I want to. Normally they carry on standing up and they either square into you to try and bust your deep De La Riva, or they try and push your leg down, or they backstep and do other things. That's the usual reaction. But what he does, I think he was going for a footlock. If you can see, he's grabbing hold of my leg there, my top leg. And I think he wanted to reach around to go for some sort of toe hold. I didn't feel in danger, but I was very, very conscious of that happening. I thought, I don't really want to let him win by a leg lock, especially as I like leg locks myself, and it would be silly of me to go down to a leg lock. But for him doing that, I noticed that he was his weight distribution was very, very far back. I sensed that, and I thought, well, my right hand is occupied, my legs are occupied. What have I got? All I've got is my hand here. So it's not very technical. I just pushed him. So there you go. I just push him and he falls onto his back and I get top position. And if you watch the referee, I get 2 points. Yay, I got some points. So I thought the momentum was going my side. I thought, okay, I'm doing well. I'm on top position. Let's try and just continue from there with the guard pass. Now, if you look at the way Stefan fell, very clever. He got the butterfly hook here, the flattened butterfly hook, which is very, very, really nice thing to do. If you ever find that your guard is being passed and you're going to be swept, or you do get swept, getting the butterfly hook in, even if you're flat, which is not the best position to be in, will save your skin so many times. I use this a lot, and Stefan's using it right hand. He's using it perfectly, and this is where the beginning of my sort of downfall happens. But it took a little while. I still felt I was winning. My aim was to open his elbows out and really get really good crossface and underarm control. And something I teach all my students is the really old school finger crawl. You'll see it along here. There's a little finger crawl that I do, which opened his elbow out. There we go. There we go. And I've got a crossface with my other arm there. Now at that point, that's really where I started. Man, I'm kicking myself now, but it was kind of rookie error. I was focused so much on trying to attack that top arm. What I wanted to do was the under the head Americana. So it's not like the usual Americana where your arms go over the body. It's on behind the head, which is It's a nice holding position. You can really hold them there. To actually get submission from there is rare, certainly against a black belt, but it can sort of really be useful to pin them down. So you get the benefits of the crossface as well as his arm exposed like that. But Stefan was wise to it, got his arm free, straightened it, got it out, and he's elevating me. Now this is where his good work comes in. So he's starting to elevate me with his butterfly hook. And you'll see in a minute how he also uses it on the other side to get me back into close guard. So let's have a look. Oh, one thing I wanted to point out before you see his transition into close guard is this. This was the most annoying thing here. Oh man, this was so annoying. The shoulder clamp. It's just a very, very basic, from a flattened butterfly shoulder clamp. Really, really good of him to do that on me, because I really felt like my shoulders were being pinned like this and wrenched that way. It didn't hurt, but I really felt pinned. I felt like I couldn't quite immobilize my top half. So the only thing I could do was raise my hips up because I wanted to pass his legs. And that's exactly what Stefan wanted. I mean, you have to be very patient when you use the shoulder clamp and flattened butterfly. But you will get the results. And it's almost like a textbook way to deal with somebody who's trying to smash past you or stack you. So he gets close guard, all right, but he's still got that really nice shoulder clamp around about here. Now what I'm doing is I'm really trying to, I felt that I had to really apply a lot of pressure on his, you can actually see his face turning that way. So my shoulder pressure was good. I could hear his breathing was changing, so I thought, okay, this is having some sort of effect. But possibly my mistake here was being so upright in this position here. Now I need to do that in order to walk around his body. I do this time and time again with my training partners, this sort of stack style passing from inside the close guard, walking around. But I made a big error and I carried on holding his head. I know he's got the shoulder clamp on, but what I really should have done is move this arm over and popped it over to the other side. That would have spread my weight distribution a little bit better. But because I'm still holding onto his head and with my hips elevated so high, I was very, very unsteady. And Stefan definitely capitalized on that, which you'll see in a minute. That was a big mistake on my part. I still, so you know, you get very single-minded. You still want, I want to smash. I want to try and win by just crushing him and him tapping to being crushed, which clearly is not going to happen. But you know, you go through these mindsets. So you see, I'm walking around to his right hip. So walking around to his right hip, even then, I still had an opportunity to move my left arm and pop it around to the other side of his body, and this gives me a more even weight distribution, sort of transverse across his body. But I didn't. I stuck in there, which meant I was very, very prone to being swept. So have a look at how Stefan deals with that. Still got the shoulder clamp. There's a little bit of fiddling with the grip fighting there, but essentially I'm still really, really unbalanced. Took me over him, sweep to the side, and he gets the armbar, and I tap. I want to talk about the tap. Now, if you look at how I fell here, the arm wasn't extended, right? But I tapped. It was loose, and I tapped. I panic tapped. It's what we call a panic tap. So the build up to it, as he was grabbing my arm here, you can't see it, but he's grabbing and fashioning for the arm. But I realized that my arm was in danger. It was my left arm as well. Usually it's my right arm being attacked. So there was the unfamiliarity of having my left arm being attacked. I hadn't quite got the reflexes to deal with that. But that's not the excuse. The point is that as I fell, in my mind I thought, oh, he's going to extend my arm. I better tap because it's going to get injured. He's just going to snap it off. And I tapped before he had extended fully. With hindsight, obviously that's competition nerves as well, but with hindsight, in training, I would never have tapped that early. I would have let it extend, but you also trust that your training partner isn't going to snap it on in a sort of ruthless fashion. They're going to extend, and they're going to wait, and then you're going to, oh, okay, that was an armbar tap. But in this case, I was kind of had that tiny moment of fear that he would have really snapped my arm hard, so I tapped super early. But if you watch Stefan, how he did it, it's very, very slow and progressive, you know. And he told me after, you can see, put my head in my hands. I was saying, oh, I tapped too early. I mean, I tapped really early. It was like the arm was, you know, like there rather than there. And I said to Stefan, I tapped too early. Oh, what an idiot. He goes, yeah, you tapped really early. I thought you would have, you know, just fought it a bit more. But and you shouldn't have worried, Seymour. I would not have tried to break your arm. I wouldn't have like gone to spaz mode and, I would have done it carefully, and I trusted him. But the thing is, it's just in competition, your mind goes to funny places. Anyway, respect to Stefan. He did a good job there. I started off well. I did some good things. I made a few errors, and analysing it back, it's really, really useful to see. I know it's painful, guys, to look at your own competition footage, especially when you lose. I think you learn more when you lose. Sometimes when you win, you think, okay, the game plan went well, and you move on. But when you lose, there's a lot of things that you can look back on, thinking, okay, I need to improve on that thing. And when I walked off the mat, I thought, I tapped too early. That was my mistake. But no, the mistake was much earlier in the process when I was cross-facing him. I should have just changed my weight distribution, because I should have sensed that with the butterfly hook on me, I would get elevated. He would get close guard, and he would sweep me from there. So, because my waist was too high. But anyway, you live and you learn. Really, really good data. There's not many of us certainly none that I can see ever in competitions who fight in my age group. But as I say, it doesn't really affect me. I'm still I'm touch wood, I'm injury free. I'm still quite fit and mobile and flexible. I'm small as well. I think when you're small and you're in your 50s, without carrying any long-term injuries, I can still be competitive against people in their 40s, mid-40s maybe. So the age bracket isn't as much of a concern, and the weight difference, Stefan's probably 7 or 8 kilos heavier than me. Again, I have no choice. In the gym, I roll with people who are 10 kilos heavier than me all the time. So I didn't feel that was a factor. Talk to me next year, maybe it is as I get older. But I definitely hoped to improve and come back next year with a few more competitions. I'm really enjoying this. At the end of the day, I'm really, really enjoying this. I never competed much as in my earlier belts. I did a lot at blue, a couple at purple, didn't do any at brown. And I feel I'm catching up now. I should have done more when I was in my earlier grades. But what the hell, I've got nothing to prove. I'm just really enjoying it. This is how you can learn. And I hope it was enjoyable, or at least informative for you too. So thanks for watching, 10 minutes of me talking about a 1 minute match. Thank you guys, bye.